To this day, many people find Joel to be one of the best video game protagonists of all time, and a huge part of what makes this character so special are all the quotable lines that he's said throughout the 2 games in the series. Welcome to Game Rant, and today, here's a few of our favorites.
Where did you get the money for this?
Drugs. I sell hardcore drugs.
Oh, good. You started helping out with the mortgage then.
Quick heads up though, there will be spoilers for both Last of Us games ahead. Early in the game, in Chapter 3, Ellie is being escorted by Joel and Tess outside the city, and the pair show off just how adept they are at navigating this post-apocalyptic world, leading Ellie to compliment them, and Joel to fire back with,
"It's called luck, and it is gonna run out."
a statement that's called back later after Tess reveals that she's been bitten later in the game.
Our luck had to run out sooner or later.
By far the quote with the most lasting impression is Joel's final words at the end of the first game, where Ellie asks him point blank if he's been lying to her.
Swear to me that everything that you've said about the Fireflies is true.
I swear.
Joel's argument for doing the terrible things he once did was that he was a survivor, with this line serving as a clear indication at the start of the game that Joel here wasn't the squeaky clean hero that we're used to having.
Guess what? We're shitty people, Joel. It's been that way for a long time.
No, we are survivors.
This is our chance.
It is over, Tess!
While the pair are working their way through Pittsburgh, Ellie is forced to come to Joel's rescue and kill a hunter that threatened to end him. But instead of appreciating this, Joel admonishes Ellie and says that her inexperience could have led to his death too.
And you just hang back like I told you to.
Well, you're glad I didn't, right?
I'm glad I didn't get my head blown off by a goddamn kid.
In contrast though, also in Pittsburgh, even someone as stone-hearted as Joel knew that Ellie needed to know the truth of the brutal world that she was just thrown into.
Just so we're clear about back there, it was either him or me.
You're welcome.
Okay, one last one in Pittsburgh. After taking Bill's help, Joel and Ellie head towards the Firefly Hospital, and apparently while she was combing over Bill's lair, she happened to stumble upon a rather interesting magazine that she ended up stealing.
Light on the reading, but it's got some interesting photos.
Now, Ellie, that ain't for kids.
Whoa! How the hell would he even walk around with that thing?
Get rid of that.
The Last of Us has one of the saddest beginnings in gaming history, with Joel enduring the worst thing for any father to have to deal with, turning him into a cold and cruel man over time. This leads him to spit this line out during a verbal argument with Ellie.
You have no idea what loss is.
But that's not where the scene ends, because despite Joel and Ellie growing close along the way to Jackson, the mixture of fear and anger brought up by Ellie mentioning his late daughter's name leads him to try shutting her up with,
Ellie? You are treading on some mighty thin ice here.
but she persists, eventually with the fight ending with Joel's cold line,
You're right. You're not my daughter. And I sure as hell ain't your dad.
They do eventually get past this though, and the memory of Sarah is later touched on again, but with a completely different outcome, as in Chapter 10, Ellie gives him a photo of Sarah that she had taken from Jackson.
Well, no matter how hard you try, I guess you can't escape your past.
Dipping a little into The Last of Us Part 2 for a bit, Joel's final words prove that he was never a man who would go out begging for his life.
Why don't you say whatever speech you got rehearsed? Get this over with.
And Joel's death becomes all the more tragic when you see that he had fully embraced being a father the second time around, in a flashback scene featuring one of the most heartwarming moments the two had ever shared.
Happy birthday, kiddo.
Another flashback scene later in the game has Joel referencing his actions in Part 1, facing the truth about what he had done to Marlene, and showing no remorse for the decisions that he's made.
If somehow the Lord gave me a second chance at that moment, I would do it all over again.
Alright, enough with the serious stuff. How's about a good old dad joke?
What is the downside to eating a clock? It's time consuming. If I ever were to lose you, I'd surely lose myself. Everything I have found here, I'm not found by myself.
While just a song lyric, the repetition of this line and what happens soon after proves that Joel would very much rather die than have to see Ellie meet the same fate, having already lost himself after the death of one daughter and using the song as a way to reconcile his grief. Throughout the 20 years that he's spent on his own, viewers probably wondered what reason Joel even had to be fighting for, since he didn't seem to be particularly happy. And he answered this question in the closing moments of the game, admitting his guilt over surviving while others hadn't.
I struggled for a long time with surviving. And no matter what, you keep finding something to fight for.
Back to before his bond with Ellie, Joel shows us his calloused nature when first taking on the job of escorting her out of Boston.
You wanna know the best thing about my job? I don't gotta know why. To be honest with you, I give two shits what you're up to.
Well, great.
Toward the end of the first game, Marlene, who had plans to kill Ellie and extract a vaccine from her, begged Joel for her life, but Joel only offered a single sentence in response.
You just come after her.
Less is more in some cases, and clearly Naughty Dog felt this way when it came to the relationship between Joel and his brother Tommy, with just this one simple quote describing their falling out.
Tommy saw the world one way, I saw it the other.
And lastly, the winter season was brutal for the characters of the first game. And after the final fight with David, a cannibal looking to eat Ellie, Joel had no big words to comfort her, but instead could only reaffirm that he was there.
Look. It's me.
He tried to...
Oh, baby girl. It's okay. It's okay.
Joel.
And that's it for our list. Thank you so much for watching, and go to GameRant.com for more like this.